So we checked on Celtic. One thing I was wondering, I always like to ask people is, do you remember your earliest football memory? So anything football related, what's like the first thing you remember when you first like this is my sport?
I think I'm trying to hold on, think. I think the one thing that always reminisces with me when I was young is I remember a Celtic Man United game, and it was dying ends of the game. I think we were at home, and then about 70th or 80th minute, I think it was, Nakamura scores a quality free kick past Edwin van der Sar. Yeah, he scored a quality free kick past Edwin van der Sar. I just remember me and my dad just going crazy in the living room. I didn't really understand, but I just knew I had to like the team in green. So I was just like, I seen that one of the best goals that I probably could have ever remembered watching. And then like 5 minutes later, there was a penalty for quite a poor decision. I think it hits off Neil Lennon's hand from a free kick off the wall, and you're like, so it ends up being a penalty to Man United, and we're dying ends of the game. And then you've got Arthur Borwick in there, having to save the penalty, ends up saving it, and I couldn't tell you what was louder, either the goal for Nakamura or the penalty save. It was phenomenal. I think that sent us through in the Champions League as well, and I think that was probably the last time we actually went through in the Champions League.
That sounds unreal. It's funny because I was thinking about this for myself, and I kind of have a similar one, but so I always thought my earliest football memory, if you asked me this, I would have said Martin Skirtle's late winner against Arsenal, and I didn't really realize it was against Arsenal until I looked into it a few weeks ago. And basically, I remember like it was in the end of the game. I remember there's just bald head just coming up above everyone else and just knocking it in, because that's what Skirtle did. It's funny because if you ask me, I always that's my earliest one. But I looked into it, and it was in December 2014, and I remember the 2014 World Cup. So I guess technically it's the 2014 World Cup, and I know you're a few years older than me, but so that might be like kind of a little later for you, but yeah, I remember the 2014 World Cup. I remember at the end of I remember I got the Steven Gerrard kit that when the 14-15, so I would have gotten it early. And I remember with it came the 2014 sticker book. And I remember me and Shane, we got it, and we're like, let's like collect this, whatever. And there was a place near my mom's work, and she would come home with the packets every day. We'd go out with like over the summer and get the packets. I remember just watching the 2014 World Cup in general. The only actual match I remember England getting knocked out, and I remember kind of how funny it was. And then I remember obviously the Germany-Brazil game. But yeah, 2014 World Cup is probably where it starts for me. But
my early memory was 2006. That's I was like 5-year-old. Jumping about the place that was crazy. I think it probably be that. I think my earliest World Cup was, I remember 2008 Euros a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember the full tournament, but like international, I think the main one was, I think those, but like the main international competition I remember is definitely the 2010 World Cup. Oh, that was probably something that got me really into football, because when back in 2006 to 2010, I was into football, but I wasn't crazy into it. But I think after that World Cup, that got me properly into football, I think.
Yeah, what got me probably into football, I remember it wasn't until I would have said recently, it's probably 8 years ago now, the 17-18 Liverpool campaign. That was kind of the first I guess it was like the first season I had a phone, so it was kind of like the first season I could follow it on my own sort of thing. So that was the first season I probably got into it, and also like that happened to be the season Liverpool made the Champions League final. So like I watched all the games before that for as long as I can remember, but when I kind of it's kind of everything I knew about Liverpool was through my dad. But obviously, like, very knowledgeable, and he's watching games every week. But I feel like 17-18 was the first season I kind of like took control and started following it on my own terms. So one thing which does my head into this day is that I have zero memory of the 2010 World Cup. Like, I remember other things when I was 5. Seriously, I was 5 for it, but I'm like, what was I doing in the summer of 2010? Like, that wasn't. I hope it was good, because the 2010 World Cup looked like an absolute like banger, just the vibes. But yeah, I guess. Again, I was born.
There's so many good moments, yeah.
Yeah, the goal for Africa, and then they all do the dance. Like, I've seen that clip so many times, but
oh yeah.
I guess I was born 4 months after the Miracle of Istanbul in 05, and I'm very glad I was born after it, because even if I was like an infant, I knew I would never forgive myself for not remembering it if I was alive during it. So I can just say I wasn't alive for it, not my fault.